Jill says, sometime in the next few years, I want to move to New Zealand. What is the best way to invest my small amount? Good question. I'm not totally up with the New Zealand laws, but I do know that there's no... last time I looked at it, they don't have capital gains tax. So investing in an asset that's going to be growing in value as opposed to earning income could potentially save you tax if you move the money to New Zealand. But I think because of the tax arrangements, and don't quote me on this, but if you were of pension age and you held your money in the pension phase of superannuation, I think you'd be highly likely that you wouldn't pay any tax on either the earnings or the money that you draw from it as well. So holding the money within the pension phase of superannuation is great, particularly for retirement. Not sure whether you're focused on retirement though. Greg, I'm eligible to retire at the end of 2012. What do I do if the church chooses to allow me to continue working? If you're eligible to retire, I'm assuming that you reached that 65 years of age. If the church wants you to, is happy for you to continue to work, you used to be able to get access to what they call the pension bonus scheme, which would give you a bit of a boost for not drawing on the age pension. I would consider transition to retirement strategy, although if you're a pastor, you don't generally need to salary sacrifice because you've already got a taxable income lower than $37,000. So it's just a matter of, it's really a choice of continuing to work and not drawing an age pension because your taxable income would be probably too high, or choosing to retire. It's providing that you've got sufficient funds to support your retirement. So it's more about a lifestyle decision as a financial decision there, without knowing more details about your circumstances, Greg. Peter, I have an investment property which is losing $30,000 per annum and I can't sell it except at a $150,000 loss. Yeah, you can probably gauge from the big breath that I took that it's I'm feeling for you in this scenario. It's got to be a tough situation to be in. It's a balancing act between selling it and taking a big loss versus continuing to face $30,000 a year losses. So it's very difficult to make a call on that, but it's that balancing act between, do you think it's actually going to turn around, versus can you afford to maintain it? If you had the cash flow ideally and you saw that in the future or not too distant future that things would turn around, you would potentially try and see it through, but really if it's putting strain on your relationships, if you're going backwards all the time, then you really should consider cutting your losses and starting again, or cutting your losses. I'm not sure what your scenario is, the full details, but very difficult to say exactly how to do it. Depending on your age, you could access funds from your super to pay it down. Pretty hard to give more detail or give more general advice there without knowing more details. Shirley asks, how much super do I need to comfortably retire at 60? I'm 47 now. Similar to the other question, you could potentially go through the Christian Super calculator. It gives you a bit of an idea of how much your super balance would provide, or how much of your income your super balance would provide and how long it would last. So just on the Christian Super website. But if you were at age 60, you would be fully self-funded because you wouldn't have access to the age pension until at least, I think, I could check, but at least age 64, potentially more like 65, 60, 66 even. I don't know specifically because I don't have your date of birth. But there's going to be a number of years between 60 and your age pension age, whether that's 65 or what have you. It varies because it's increasing over time. but you'd have to support yourself. You'd be totally self-funded for those years. There'd be no age pension to supplement your income. And even if it's a small amount of age pension, it does just it really does assist you not having to rely on your own assets so much. It doesn't draw down or eat into your assets as much just by getting a small age pension. So that's your key. It's going to be supporting yourself between 60 and your age pension age. And to do that, you really need 12 times your income. So if you require $50,000 to live on, that's 12 times that, or $600,000 to support your $50,000 income over that period of time. You might eat into it. You might start to, $60,000 might generate $50,000 of income, but you might actually have less than that. You might have $300,000 generating $25,000 of income, and you might draw down an additional $25,000 on top of that each year. So you're eating into your $300,000. It's going down each year to provide for your income needs. But hopefully that's given you some feedback there. Evelyn asks, how much does one need for a good, comfortable retirement, and what should one assume to be the... I didn't get the rest of the question there. Well, just as per the ASFA survey, and these details are in the superannuation webinar. So cornerstonewealth.com.au/super video. One of those is how much do I need to retire on, and this ASFA Westpac survey, that's a quarterly survey for a couple on a comfortable retirement, it's $54,000. It's just under $54,000. For a modest retirement for a couple, it's about just over $30,000. And I can't remember the single figures, but you could go back to that webinar or just search on ASFA Westpac survey, and you'll probably see that the figures coming up on that. I hope that helps. I'll just answer Evelyn's question, and then I'll go to the someone's just put through a question as well. Deborah's just asking, how do you work out when you're eligible for the age pension? I've got a little booklet here, but if you just even search on the web, I'll even take you to it. Search on in Google age pension age. It's based on your date of birth. And it should come up. I think it's generally the tax office as one of the first. Age pension eligibility. Centrelink, I guess, is the other page. And so it's based on your date of birth. If we just go through here, I'll just check whether you can see that. So it depends on when you're born. But if you just search on Centrelink's site, you can see it. So if you're born before 1935 and you're a woman, it's your age pension age is 60. If you're a man, it's at 65. So it's gradually increasing depending on your date of birth. So you can basically check out your date of birth down here. And it's also increasing up to 67 years of age. So I'll just scroll down a bit further. You might be able to see your age pension age there. And you can work out what your date of birth range and then your age pension age. So the left-hand column is women, right-hand column is men. So that's being brought back into alignment. Daniel says, what is the most beneficial income stream? I think I answered that question. I answered Jim's question. John and Luke had similar questions. So John is Christian Super Ethical Australian says performing below other super funds and that are supposedly not ethical. And Luke was, what is an easy and simple way of comparing Christian Super's performance rate of return and fees? There's two sites that do reviews of super funds, and they're Chant West, I think it's CHANTWEST, and Super Ratings. So you can do a comparison there. But so check those two sites out. You can see how it compares. But you can also, what I'll also do is I've had a chat to Peter Murphy, the CEO who introduced the session, and we might actually do a session at some point, whether it's on a a podcast or another webinar on this specifically. So the details around, because previously it was thought that if you're investing ethically, you actually do worse than the market return or what other funds were doing. But it's been proven that depending on the economic climate, it can actually provide a better return to be in ethical funds. And I know that was the case for a number of funds throughout the global financial crisis. But we'll provide, I haven't got, apart from referring you to Super Ratings and Chant West, at the moment, what we'll do is we'll have a session, I think, specifically on that, because it's something that we haven't addressed in any of the webinars over the last year, and we're not really addressing it in a good way, or I guess a comprehensive way, in this year's webinars either. So we'll do that. Great, Jill. Glad you. I hope that interesting experience means that it was a positive experience. But thanks for joining us, and have a good night. Well, I've just about come to the conclusion. So unless anyone else has any other questions that they want to ask, I might wrap up and leave it there. So what I will do is provide a recording of the session to you at a later date. Actually, there are further resources available to you as well. So there's a Christian Super help desk on that 1300 number 1300 360 907. There's a tools and resources calculator on the Christian Super website that you can go to, and I've got a range of resources available to you as well. So you can lodge an inquiry via my website and I'll contact you. You can give me a call on 1300 275 428. That's 1300 Ask Gav to book an initial consultation. You can also leave a question for me for my podcast on that as well. So if you call that number and select option 1, you can actually leave a voicemail question that I'll answer on a podcast. And you can access the podcast via my website or iTunes. And you can also see recordings or see other webinars, links to other webinars on the Christian Super website. And of course, there's the recording of the previous Christian Super superannuation webinar. So thanks very much for joining us. Thanks to those who stayed on for the full length of the session. I think there's only about 9 of us left. But I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you benefited from it, and let me know if I can assist you anyway down the track.